France's shock election, what happened and what's next? French voters once again kept the far right out of power, but the country now faces a hung parliament, shaky alliances, and the prospect of turbulent years ahead. President Emmanuel Macron called for a snap parliamentary election to clarify the political situation. However, the shock results of the second round have left the political waters more muddied than they have been in decades. Key takeaways from the election. 1. Hung parliament. The election results have led to a hung parliament, meaning no single party or coalition has an outright majority. This outcome promises a period of political instability and uncertainty. 2. Left-wing surge. The left-wing New Popular Front (NFP) coalition saw a significant surge in support, successfully blocking Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally (RN) party from gaining power. This result highlights a renewed interest in left-wing policies among the French electorate. 3. Far-right foiled. Despite fears of a far-right breakthrough, Marine Le Pen's RN party was unable to capitalize on the political turmoil, remaining on the fringes of power. The road ahead. 1. Potential Prime Minister. With the Parliament hung, the question of who will become France's next Prime Minister is up in the air. The lack of a clear majority means that forming a stable government will be challenging, requiring negotiations and alliances between various political factions. 2. Macron's gamble. President Macron's decision to call a snap election was intended to bring clarity and strengthen his position. However, the outcome has instead led to greater political fragmentation. Whether this move will ultimately benefit Macron remains uncertain, as he now faces a more complex and divided political landscape. 3. Political instability. The hung parliament and the fragmented political environment suggest that France is likely to experience a period of significant political instability. Forming effective government coalitions and passing legislation could become more difficult, potentially leading to frequent political crises. In conclusion, while the election kept the far right out of power, it has left France in a state of political disarray. The coming months will reveal whether Macron can navigate this turbulent landscape and achieve the clarity he sought, or if the country will face continued political uncertainty. Here's a summary of the outcome of France's parliamentary election runoff. The left-wing alliance emerged victorious in the French parliament, successfully preventing the far right from gaining power. However, despite winning the most seats, the alliance fell short of securing a majority, leading to a period of uncertainty for the future. **** Macron rejects Prime Minister's resignation offer. In a recent development from the Élysée presidential palace, French President Emmanuel Macron has declined the resignation offer of his Prime Minister, Gabriel Attal. Despite Attal's tendering of his resignation this morning, Macron has requested that he remain in his position for the time being. According to a source from the Élysée, the president emphasized the need for Attal to stay on for the moment to ensure the stability of the country. Former French President François Hollande, who governed France from 2012 to 2017, has been elected as a member of the French Parliament for Corrèze, a constituency he represented in the 1980s and 1990s. Hollande chose not to seek a second presidential term, believing his re-election chances were slim. He was succeeded by his then economy minister, Emmanuel Macron. After largely retiring from political life following his presidency, Hollande has staged a political comeback, citing the danger posed by the far right as a primary motivator. How can I be useful? Having held the positions I've held, and having made numerous demands on my country's foreign policy, I believe I can help ensure that France's interests are preserved, Hollande told BFM following his election. During his presidency, Hollande legalized same-sex marriage and led France's response to a series of terrorist attacks. A French centrist politician has expressed confidence that a parliamentary majority can be achieved without the inclusion of the far-left France Unbowed Party, even though that party and its allies garnered the most votes of any bloc in Sunday's legislative elections. François Bayrou, leader of the centrist democratic movement, conveyed this belief during an interview with French radio station France Inter. He asserted that a majority could be formed excluding both the far left and the far right. Bayrou criticized the far-left coalition surrounding France Unbowed, arguing that the parties within the bloc have attitudes and political choices that are incompatible with each other. The New Popular Front includes traditional left-wing parties such as the Socialist and Communist parties, along with the far-left group. This bloc, which lacks a clear leader, has not yet put forward an official candidate for prime minister. A significant internal disagreement centers on the role of France's unbowed leader Jean-Luc Mélenchon, a controversial figure in French politics. Bayer's party secured approximately 36 seats on Sunday, aligning with French President Emmanuel Macron's bloc, which unexpectedly won 163 seats. Bayer characterized the second round as a collapse for the far-right National Rally, RN, which surprisingly came in third place. Despite this, the far-right achieved its best parliamentary results ever, doubling its share of seats. Marine Le Pen, the RN's prominent figure, stated on Sunday night that these results would serve as a foundation for the 2027 presidential elections. French Prime Minister Gabriel Attal has arrived at the Élysée presidential palace to tender his resignation to President Emmanuel Macron, as shown on television. The president has not yet decided whether to accept Attal's resignation, which was offered amid the ongoing election results. This development comes just weeks before the Paris Olympic Games, a significant event showcasing France's global standing. German Vice-Chancellor thoroughly relieved after far-right fails to win most seats. German Vice-Chancellor Robert Habeck expressed his relief after the far-right failed to secure an outright majority in the French National Assembly. Habeck, a Green Party member and the economy minister, stated, "I am thoroughly relieved that the right did not make a breakthrough. Although the formation of a government will now be very complicated, it is very good to see the center and center-left parties and the left spectrum working together to prevent France from drifting into nationalism and Europe from facing even more difficult challenges." He added, "It was an encouraging election result, but it will nevertheless present an enormous challenge, especially for France, but also for Europe, which is currently in a phase of reorganization after the European elections, and for Franco-German relations." Speaking to reporters in Stuttgart, Germany, early Monday, Habeck emphasized, "In these difficult times, I hope that France will quickly regain its vital position in Europe, because without France, it will not work." #Morning update from Paris. A left-wing alliance has won the most seats in the French parliament after tactical voting in Sunday's second-round election thwarted Marine Le Pen's far-right party. However, France is now in political limbo as no party came close to achieving an absolute majority. President Emmanuel Macron, with 3 years left in his term and unable to call a new election for at least another year, faces the challenge of presiding over an unruly parliament amid mounting domestic and international issues. Election results. In a surprising outcome, the New Popular Front, NFP, a coalition of parties ranging from the far-left France Unbowed to the more moderate socialists and ecologists, secured 182 seats in the National Assembly. This makes the NFP the largest group, but still far short of the 289 seats required for an absolute majority. Macron's centrist Ensemble Alliance won 163 seats, while Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally, RN, party and its allies secured 143 seats. Implications of the results. The strong performance of the RN in the first round had raised fears of a potential far-right government, the first since the Vichy regime during World War II. However, Sunday's results indicate a significant shift, reflecting French voters' determination to prevent the far right from gaining power, even at the expense of a hung parliament. Public and political reactions. Cheers echoed through the streets of Paris as the projected results indicated a leftist victory. Jean-Luc Mélenchon, the outspoken leader of France Unbowed, addressed a jubilant crowd near Stalingrad Square, calling the results a huge relief for the overwhelming majority of people in our country. Conversely, Jordan Bardella, the 28-year-old leader of the RN, described the outcome as throwing France into uncertainty and instability. Prime Minister uncertainty. Prime Minister Gabriel Attal, a protégé of Macron, announced his resignation on Monday morning. The results suggest Macron might need to appoint a prime minister from the left-wing coalition, a rare situation known as cohabitation. However, figures within Macron's party have expressed reluctance to collaborate with France Unbowed, deeming it as extreme and unfit to govern as the RN.